Welcome back to my shop. This is a first look at the Pro-Forme Flexi hollowing tool. I believe that's what it's called. I just got this past week and I'm going to be doing my second project on it today. So I'm going to pull it a little bit closer. We can take a look at the project and take a closer look at the tool itself. So the tool is a pretty standard segmented style hollower. What that means is that over the standard shaft there is a articulated segmented piece that you can adjust to achieve different degrees of reach inside your project. So this tool has a 1/2 inch shaft and it comes with a curved segment as well as a straight segment. I'm going to be using the curved segment on this project because I already managed to strip out the threads on the straight one. Mostly my fault, but this one has worked fine otherwise. And here's a closer look at the cutter head itself. It's essentially just a hook tool with a brass bevel on top. And as you're cutting, you ride the bevel by maintaining contact on the brass part with the work. And then through this set screw here, you adjust the amount of exposed cutter around the brass bevel. I found that once you get the brass bevel set up in the right place, it works really, really well. But getting the bevel in the right spot was a little bit fussy, but not the end of the world. So as you can see here, I have a piece of box elder. I'm going to be making, I guess it's a barrel. I'm not the most impressed with my work on the outside of the shape here, but this is a piece of throwaway wood, so I'm not going to get too crazy with it. And maybe it'll work as a potpourri container. So I already have my depth hole drilled out with a 1/4 inch drill bit. So I'm going to move you around and we'll get started hollowing this thing out. And I neglected to mention earlier that I also sprung for the irons tool gate to go along with the Flexi cut hollower. So you'll be able to see this guy in action too. Alright, so I have this set up for the right depth. Height rather. So the center, about there. That should do it. That's a deep cut. One thing I noticed about this iron tool rest is that while it's nice to be able to pivot on the little yoke here and to make these sweeping motions, this damn thing rattles around like hell. It comes with a cotter pin which will prevent the yoke from flying out, but in no way does the cotter pin actually hold it firm down to the tool rest. So it tends to vibrate like that, and I'm not sure, it's probably because the tool itself is vibrating and then that vibration is expressed most clearly through the yoke, but it's kind of annoying. It might be better with the straight link in place. I'm really not too sure. Something I noticed so far. It's not the chatter-free system. The tool that Flexi Cut has published showing usage of it, of course, doesn't have any vibration. That wouldn't be good marketing. So hopefully this helps someone out. I'm going to turn this out a little bit. I should be able to get a cut going in both directions. But while I adjust this thing, you'll note that even a complete novice like myself is able to get nice shavings out of the end grain from this vessel. It's nice taking actual cuts out of a piece instead of the usual little chips and bits that you get with the scraper. And it's also nice, once you see me get further in, to be able to put the support piece inside the vessel. That's a really nice feature of this tool rest. Nice. This wall needs some straightening out up top. It likes this. If I go in deep in the middle and then I make these outward directed scoops, I get really nice shavings. Clog free my ass. Get out of there. Alright. Get. This would be a lot easier if I had drilled a larger hole in the middle. My depth drill that I have is a 1/4 inch, and if I could fit this whole cutter inside that hole, that would be a lot easier. That's annoying. Well, things are getting a little bit chattery, and I think the cutter, it could use a touch-up. It feels pretty damn sharp, and I'm impressed, honestly, that it stayed feeling this sharp after an entire vessel. But I'm going to give it a touch-up. This is the Superfine Easy Lap hone. I like these things. So I'm just going to kind of try to treat it like a gouge here and buff up the edge. Does it even have a bevel? There it is. Probably don't need to get this far side. I haven't really used this part yet. That's tricky to sharpen. Most of my tools with a hollow bevel are pretty easy to sharpen, hone by hand like this, because you can easily register these little paddles on that hollow grind. This one is harder. Stay there. Come on.
see if that's any different. I don't know. I probably made it worse. And let's see where this thing is going to be. Yeah, I could probably move this closer. Yeah, I should about do it. Whoa. Wow, you can plunge straight in with this thing. That's really cool. Holy cow. I just made like a perfect U shape just by shooting straight in. Huh. I should try that for the middle hole. Just shoot it right in there. Huh. Ah. So if you try to make that hole too small, then the cutter won't fit inside. It's like trying to clean out a toothpick holder with a large scraper. It just doesn't fit. Here, it's kind of limited. Yeah, to about something an inch and a half in diameter. Still cool though. Alright, thickness. Thickness is a little thick through here. And give myself a little more angle. There. There. What's that going to be? Too much. It's kind of tedious adjusting this thing, but I got this tool because I really didn't feel like investing in 3 or 4 different hollowing arms of different curvatures. So I'll just deal with it. That's not going. So for me, what gives me the most difficulty is getting the initial cut on the end grain down in there. And that's because my hollowing hole is not only 1/4 inch wide, it's also off center. It's pretty shoddy. But once you get that initial cut picked up, man, this thing moves a ton of wood out of the way. It's pretty amazing. It's actually sort of a nuisance to keep the shavings cleared out of there. I'm going to turn the camera off and keep going with this thing. I think you've kind of gotten the picture. I'll tune you back in when I get to the end. All right, making pretty good progress in this thing. I am at about 5.5 deep out of, I think, 6.5 total. So right now I have the tool rest inside the vessel with the yoke, 1.5 inches inside. So I've gotten a decent rhythm going. So I find that if I can just start in the middle and just get an easy cut going, that avoids some of the chatter. Get to the edge, and I can follow it back into the middle. And what I'm tilting the tool a little bit towards the cut in each way. So pretty logical stuff, but it's takes a little bit of feel. And the really obnoxious vibration that I get is from when I start with too heavy of a cut initially. It is possible to kind of just to shove this thing into the cut because it's round in the front and it can cut all the way around, so you can just put it right into the work. Then once you do that and try to then move to the left, that's way too much wood for this whole thing to handle, so then you get that vibration. So the trick, I guess, is with most things in life is to do it with moderation. So here we go. I've got a cone in the middle, a nub. I haven't been able to get a good cut in the middle, so as I was sweeping in from the outside to the end, I ran into that hill, and that's where this bevel thing came into play nicely. With a scraper, running into that nub would have been just a tremendous catch, especially at this depth. But with this cut limiter in place, it just kind of stops. So this is a good system. And this Pro-Forme tool is not the only system, of course, that has this cut limiter. I think the Monroe Howler has the same setup. The middle is really hard to get. Alright, well, I'm going to fool around with the bottom of this thing for a while more. It's going to take a little bit of detailed work and remeasuring to get these corners where I want them. Well, I finished my my potpourri barrel, if that's what you want to call it. Turned out pretty well. Towards the end, I got a nice touch going with the cutting tool. Basically, taking lighter cuts results in less chatter. Big surprise. So, so far, I've been pretty happy with this thing. My only complaint is that I managed to strip out the small link, but that's because I really was tightened too hard. So it's mostly my fault, but these things are fairly delicate, and they undergo quite a bit of stress, so it's a tough bit of engineering to have such little material to work with when creating these threads, and also need them to be so strong. And then as for the tool rest, I'm pretty happy with it. The yoke, it chatters around, but it only has really chattered when you're overdoing it. So when the last inch or so of this vessel, I was this far inside the vessel cutting, and that was really handy. Cool feature. And I also plan on dual purposing this rest with normal scrapers when doing lidded boxes. I've always wanted the box rest, and now I've got something that should hopefully do both jobs. And in case anyone's wondering, I'm using a Robert Sorby 22-inch Sovereign handle with this thing. No particular reason there. Well, that will do it for this video. I hope it's been helpful to someone out there. I always think it's good to get a sight and sound of a tool in use, especially by maybe a novice who will misuse it. Will show you the highs and the lows of using something. So thank you for watching, and if anyone has any comments about the tool, leave them down below and I'll answer them. Thanks for watching.